The small shuttle from Earth drifted quietly through the shining blue clouds of Valora. From the window, Rin watched the planet's light dance across the ship's surface like moving water. He had never seen a world that looked so alive. Everything glowed here, from the floating cities in the sky to the smooth crystal towers that reached up to touch the sunlight. Rin took a deep breath and told himself that this was just another diplomatic mission. He was an envoy of Earth, a simple representative with simple goals. Trade, peace, and friendship, that was all. When the shuttle landed on a wide landing pad made of silver glass, a group of tall beings waited for him. They looked almost human, except for the faint golden lines running across their skin like streams of light. Their eyes glowed softly, and they moved with a calm grace that made Rin feel clumsy in his plain gray uniform. The leader stepped forward and bowed deeply. "Welcome, envoy of Earth," she said in a calm, melodic voice. "I am Lyrian, Speaker of the Council. We have awaited your arrival." Rin smiled politely and bowed in return. "Thank you, Speaker. It's an honor to visit Valora. I hope our worlds can learn from each other." Lyrian nodded, her golden lines pulsing brighter for a moment. "Indeed, but before any talks may begin, there is a matter of great importance. The ancient law has been spoken. You have been chosen to attend the princess this night." Rin blinked. "Attend the princess? I'm sorry, I don't understand. I thought I was here for diplomacy." "The law is older than diplomacy," Lyrian said gently. "It is a sacred custom. When a visitor from beyond our stars arrives under a certain pattern of light, that visitor must attend the royal ceremony and stand beside the princess. The law calls this the union of resonance." Rin tried to keep his calm smile, though his mind raced. "And what exactly does this ceremony involve?" "It is not for me to explain. The princess herself will tell you. The summons cannot be declined, for it is written in the star code of Valora." Before he could ask more, Lyrian turned and gestured toward a long walkway that seemed to float in the air. Rin followed, his boots tapping softly against the glowing path. Below him, the city stretched out like a dream, bridges made of light, towers that bent like trees, and rivers that shone from within. The air was warm and smelled faintly of flowers, though he saw none nearby. Valora felt like a living world, aware of every step he took. As they walked, Lyrian spoke about the planet. "Valora is old. We have watched many suns rise and fade. Long ago, our ancestors saw your world, small and blue in the distance. They said that one day, when the right traveler came from that world, our fates would join." Rin listened carefully. He had read many stories about ancient prophecies, but hearing one spoken so calmly made it sound almost ordinary. Still, he could not help feeling nervous. He was just a human envoy, not some chosen hero, yet the Valorans treated him as if his arrival had been written in the stars. They reached the edge of the walkway where a round platform waited. A soft hum filled the air and light rose around them like mist. When it cleared, Rin found himself standing in a wide hall made of white stone and golden glass. Tall windows opened to a sky filled with floating gardens and shining birds that left trails of light as they flew. At the center of the hall stood a throne made of crystal that glowed from within. On the throne sat a figure unlike any Rin had ever seen. She was tall and graceful, her skin glowing with soft gold patterns that moved like gentle fire. Her eyes were calm and deep like sunlight reflected on water. She wore robes that shimmered with every color of the morning sky. This could only be Princess Alera. When Rin stepped forward, she rose from her throne. The movement was slow and smooth, almost like a dance. She smiled, and her voice filled the hall with a sound like music. "Welcome, traveler from Earth. I am Alera of the Golden Line. You have come at the turning of the age. The law of resonance calls your name." Rin bowed politely, unsure what else to do. "Your Highness, I am honored. I don't fully understand what this law means, but I'll do my best to follow your customs." Alera's smile grew warmer. "You speak with honesty. That is good. Our people once knew how to listen to the stars, but that gift has faded. Your world carries the spark of adaptation. It burns within your kind, giving you the power to change, to survive, to renew. The ceremony tonight will awaken that spark within our world." Rin tilted his head slightly. "You mean this ceremony is meant to help your planet?" "Yes," Alera said softly. "Our sun weakens. Its light grows tired. The union of resonance was written so that when the spark returned to us, the heart of Valora would shine again." Rin looked around the hall. The golden light from the windows touched everything, but there was a faint dimness beneath it, a tiredness he hadn't noticed before. He realized she was speaking the truth. The planet was beautiful, but something deep within it was fading. I understand, he said finally. But why me? I'm no scientist or hero. I'm just an envoy. The stars do not choose by title, Alara replied. They choose by harmony. You came under the right pattern of light. Your heart beat in rhythm with ours before you even set foot on Valora. That is enough. Lyrian stepped forward and bowed again. The princess speaks the truth. You are the one called by the code. Tonight, when the twin moons rise, you will stand beside her in the chamber of resonance. Rin nodded slowly. His heart was racing, but he tried to keep calm. Then I'll be there. I'll do whatever I can. Alara's eyes softened. You will not be alone. The chamber will guide you. All you must do is listen. The princess lifted her hand and a small golden sphere floated toward Rin. It hovered just above his palm, glowing softly. When he touched it, a warm pulse ran through his body, gentle and comforting. This will guide you to your quarters, Alara said. Rest there until the moons rise. When the time comes, the sphere will bring you to me again. Rin bowed deeply. Thank you, Your Highness. As Lyrian led him away, he glanced back at the princess. She watched him with quiet curiosity, as if trying to read the thoughts behind his eyes. When she smiled again, the hall seemed brighter. The walk to his quarters was quiet. The golden sphere floated ahead of them, leaving a soft trail of light in the air. Rin looked out the windows as they passed. He saw children flying small glowing orbs like kites, and gardens that sang in low, gentle tones. The whole city seemed to move with music he could almost hear. He felt both amazed and small in a world so strange and beautiful. When they reached his quarters, Lyrian stopped at the door. You will find food and rest inside. The sphere will call you when it is time. Remember, the princess believes in your strength. Do not doubt yourself, Rin nodded. Thank you, Speaker. I'll be ready. Inside the room was simple but elegant. The walls glowed softly, giving off a golden warmth that reminded him of a quiet sunset. A table held fruits that shimmered with colors he had never seen before. He sat down and let out a long breath. Everything felt unreal. One moment he had been preparing for a normal diplomatic meeting, and now he was part of an ancient prophecy that might save an alien son. He picked up one of the glowing fruits and took a small bite. It was sweet and cool, like a mix of honey and rain. The taste made him smile despite his confusion. Maybe, he thought, this was what humanity did best. Walk into the unknown and find a way to make it home. As he rested, he looked at the golden sphere on the table. It pulsed slowly, matching the rhythm of his heartbeat. Somewhere outside, the twin moons of Valora began to rise. Their light painted the city in silver and gold. Rin watched through the window, wondering what the night would bring. He did not know yet that the ceremony would change more than the fate of one world. It would show the stars themselves that humanity's spark could reach across the galaxy. And as the sphere brightened, calling him once more, Rin stood and straightened his uniform. He was ready to meet destiny, whatever it truly meant. When Rin awoke, the soft light of Valora's morning filled his room. The golden sphere still floated quietly near the window, glowing with a gentle pulse. For a moment, Rin forgot where he was. Then memory returned. The princess, the law, the ceremony that would take place tonight. He sat up and rubbed his eyes. The air in the room smelled faintly of flowers and warm metal. He stood and looked outside. The city of Valora shimmered under the twin suns, both pale and golden in the clear sky. The towers reflected the light like giant mirrors, sending beams of color across the clouds. From above, he could see people moving through the streets, their glowing lines bright in the morning air. The sight filled him with quiet wonder. A soft tone came from the sphere and a gentle voice spoke from it. Good morning, Envoy of Earth. The princess invites you to walk the gardens with her before the ceremony. Please follow the guide. Rin took a deep breath and nodded, even though the sphere could not see him. All right, lead the way. The door slid open without a sound and the sphere floated out into the hall. Rin followed it through winding corridors made of crystal and gold. The light seemed alive here, shifting and dancing like a slow current of water. He passed a group of Valorans who all bowed slightly as he walked by. Their eyes were warm, but there was also curiosity in them, as if they still could not believe that a human had come to fulfill an ancient prophecy. Soon they stepped out into the open air. The gardens of the palace stretched far beyond what Rin expected. Floating terraces hung in the sky, filled with plants that glowed in every shade of blue and green. The air was soft and filled with quiet sounds, humming from the flowers, a faint ringing from the trees. and gentle ripples of energy that felt like music in his chest. At the center of the garden stood Princess Alera. She wore a robe of light fabric that shimmered like morning dew. When she turned, the golden lines on her skin glowed brighter, as if responding to the sunlight itself. "Good morning, Rin of Earth," she said with a smile. "Did you rest well?" "Yes, Your Highness," Rin said, bowing slightly. "Your city is beautiful." "It feels like it's alive." Alera nodded softly. "It is alive. Valora breathes with us. Our ancestors shaped the world to grow in harmony with thought and sound. Every song, every voice becomes part of the air." Rin listened carefully, his curiosity growing. "That's incredible. On Earth we build things, but they never feel alive like this." Alera looked up toward the suns. "Perhaps that is why the stars chose your kind. You build with purpose. You reach for more. Even when your creations do not breathe, they reflect your heart. That is what the spark of adaptation means. It is not only change, it is the wish to create something better." They walked slowly through the glowing paths. Small creatures with crystal wings fluttered between the plants, leaving trails of light. Alera bent down to touch one of the flowers, and it opened its petals wider, humming softly in greeting. Rin crouched beside her, amazed. "Do they all respond to sound like that?" he asked. "Not sound," Alera replied gently. "Feeling. The world senses emotion. When you are calm, it grows calm too. When you are kind, it blooms brighter." Rin smiled faintly. "Then I hope I don't make anything nervous." Alera laughed softly. The sound reminded Rin of wind chimes. "You will not. Your heart speaks clearly. Even now the garden listens to you." For a few quiet moments they walked without speaking. Rin noticed that the plants glowed slightly brighter near him. It was small, but he could feel it, a connection, faint but real. It made him think of the forests back on Earth, and the way sunlight filtered through leaves after rain. He felt strangely at peace. After a while, Alera stopped beside a pool of still water. The surface reflected the sky like a perfect mirror. She turned to Rin. "The ceremony tonight is more than a tradition. It is a link between two energies. Our sun is fading, and with it, the heart of our world grows weak. To restore balance, we need harmony between what we are and what you are." Rin looked at the water, seeing his reflection beside hers. "Harmony between humans and Velerans," he said quietly. "Yes," she said. "You may not see it now, but humanity holds a rhythm the stars remember. You create songs even when there is silence. You bring warmth to places long cold. That is the power we have forgotten." Rin thought of home, of Earth's crowded cities, the laughter of children, the hum of machines, the voices of people who never stopped dreaming. Maybe she was right. Humans always found a way to light the dark. He looked back at Alera. "How will this ceremony work? What do I have to do?" She smiled, though there was a trace of sadness in her eyes. "You must stand in the chamber of resonance. You will hear a tone. When you do, you must answer it in your own way. There is no right sound or wrong sound. You must speak from your heart. The chamber will recognize your truth and merge it with ours." Rin hesitated. "That sounds simple, but also impossible." "The hardest truths are often the simplest," she said kindly. "Do not fear the ceremony. Fear is only silence trying to speak." A gentle wind passed through the garden. The leaves shimmered and the pool rippled softly. Alera reached out her hand toward the water, and a beam of light rose from it, forming a small shape, a star glowing faintly in the air. "This is Valora's heart," she said. "It listens to us now. Tonight, when you stand beside me, it will listen to you. If it finds harmony, our sun will burn brighter once more." Rin felt the weight of her words. It was strange to think that his voice could affect an entire world. He was just one person from a distant planet, yet here he was, being trusted with something that mattered to an entire civilization. "I'll do my best," he said softly. "Even if I don't understand everything, I'll try." Alera smiled again, her golden lines glowing brighter. "That is all the stars ever ask." They continued walking until they reached a balcony that looked over the city. From there, Rin could see the horizon glowing with colors that shifted like waves, blue, gold, and violet. Alera stood beside him in silence for a long time. Then she spoke again, her voice calm but full of meaning. "When I was a child, I asked my teacher why we waited so long for the Traveler of the Spark. She told me that humans must first learn to look beyond themselves. I did not understand then, but now I do. You came not as a conqueror or a savior, but as a friend who listens. That is why the law called you." Rin looked at her, unsure what to say. I don't feel special, he admitted. I'm just trying to do what's right. That is what makes you special, Alara replied softly. Those who seek greatness often lose the spark. Those who act with kindness keep it alive. A gentle bell rang somewhere in the distance. Alara looked toward the sound. The first moon is rising. When the second joins it, the ceremony will begin. You should rest once more and prepare. The energy in the chamber will test your heart. You must be steady, Rin nodded. I understand. Alara turned to face him fully. For a moment, the light around her grew so bright that it seemed as if the suns themselves bowed to her. Then her glow softened again, and she gave him a small, kind smile. Thank you, Rin of Earth. Whatever happens tonight, know that Valora is already grateful. She placed her hand over her heart and bowed slightly. Rin returned the gesture, unsure if he was doing it right, but she seemed pleased. As he followed the golden sphere back through the palace, Rin felt both nervous and inspired. The path ahead no longer seemed frightening. It felt like an invitation. The thought that a single voice could change the fate of a world filled him with awe. When he reached his quarters again, the city outside had begun to glow under the light of the first moon. The towers shimmered silver now, and the air carried a deep, resonant hum. He could feel the planet's pulse beneath his feet, slow and strong. He looked up at the sky and saw the second moon rising behind the first. The golden sphere brightened beside him, its rhythm matching his heartbeat once more. Rin stood tall, breathing slowly. The night of the ceremony had come. He did not know what the chamber of resonance would reveal, but one thought guided him above all. He would not let fear speak louder than hope. As the light surrounded him and the sphere began to move, Rin followed it toward his destiny, ready to stand beside the Princess of Radiance and speak with the voice of humanity itself. The night of Valora was brighter than Rin expected. The two moons hung high above the sky like silver lanterns, and the city below shimmered with rivers of golden light. The towers glowed softly, and music floated through the air, gentle and calm. Every sound seemed alive and full of meaning. The golden sphere beside Rin pulsed faster, as if it could feel his heartbeat. He stood at the edge of his room, looking out at the shining city. He took a deep breath, trying to calm himself. The princess had told him that the ceremony was simple. He only had to listen and answer from his heart. It sounded easy, but now as the moment came closer, he felt a deep weight in his chest. What if he failed? What if his voice brought only silence? Before he could think more, the door opened quietly. Speaker Lyrian entered. She carried a staff made of crystal that glowed with blue light. Her golden lines shone brighter than before. She smiled softly when she saw him. The time has come, envoy of Earth, she said. The chamber of resonance is ready. The princess waits for you. Rin nodded and followed her out of the room. The golden sphere floated beside them, lighting the path. The corridors of the palace were silent, except for the soft hum of energy. Running through the walls, the air grew warmer with every step. They stopped before a wide gate made of silver and glass. The surface shimmered like water. Lyrian turned to him. Beyond this door lies the heart of Valora. It will listen to you as it listens to all life. Remember what the princess told you. The chamber does not test skill, it listens to truth. Rin swallowed hard but nodded. I understand. The gate opened soundlessly. Light poured out like morning sunlight, filling the hallway. Rin stepped inside and felt the warmth of the air wash over him. The chamber of resonance was vast, round, and filled with soft golden mist. The floor was smooth crystal that shone with faint colors like a rainbow underwater. In the center stood Princess Alara, surrounded by tall pillars that pulsed with light. She turned when she saw him. Her golden patterns glowed softly. Welcome, Rin of Earth. The chamber is awake. It waits for your song. He walked toward her slowly. Every step echoed, with a faint musical tone. It was as if the floor itself was alive and aware of his presence. When he reached the center, she raised her hand and the pillars brightened. This place remembers every voice that has ever spoken here, she said. Our ancestors once used it to keep balance between our world and our sun. But the harmony faded long ago. Tonight we will try once more. You and I will speak together. The chamber will decide if we are one in heart. Rin looked around. The light seemed to move with his breath. He could feel the faint vibration in the air, a slow, steady rhythm like the beating of a heart. What do I need to do? He asked quietly. Listen first. Alara replied, then answer. When you hear the tone, speak not with words, but with what you feel. The sound will find its path through you. She closed her eyes and lifted both hands. The air around her shimmered. The pillars began to hum one by one, deep and low. The sound was neither loud nor soft, but it filled everything. It touched Rin's chest and moved through him like a wave. He could feel it in his bones. The light around Alara grew brighter. Her voice joined the hum, pure and strong. Yet peaceful, Rin listened carefully. At first he only heard her tone and the hum of the pillars, but slowly he began to sense another sound, faint but real, a second rhythm rising within him. It was his own heartbeat, steady and human. He closed his eyes and let the feeling grow. He remembered the sounds of earth, the whisper of wind through trees, the laughter of children, the hum of machines, the quiet rhythm of rain on rooftops. These were human sounds full of life and change. They were imperfect yet alive. That was what the princess had meant by the spark of adaptation. Humans always found music even in noise without thinking. Rin began to hum softly. His voice was small at first, but it carried warmth. The chamber responded. The light shifted, becoming deeper and brighter. The hum of the pillars changed, their tones adjusting to match him. Alara opened her eyes and smiled. Good, she said. Do not stop. Keep your heart open, Rin continued. The sound grew steadier. He let the memories of earth guide him. The sound of rivers, the beat of footsteps, the joy of new beginnings. His voice blended with Alara's melody. The air vibrated around them. The chamber's light rose higher, reaching the ceiling. Outside the palace, the people of Valora looked up as the light from the chamber of resonance spread across the city. It painted the sky gold and blue like a living sunrise. The citizens whispered in awe. Some knelt while others simply held hands and watched, hoping that the prophecy was true. Inside the chamber, Rin felt the energy grow stronger. The hum surrounded him until it felt like the whole world was breathing with him. The pillars glowed white now, their rhythm pulsing like a heartbeat in perfect time with his own. Then the sound shifted again. The chamber released a deep, clear tone, unlike anything he had heard before. It was beautiful and endless. The air shimmered with golden mist, and he could see shapes moving within it, stars forming and dissolving. Alara reached out her hand toward him. Now, Rin of Earth, she said, give your truth. He did not speak in words, he simply let his heart answer. He thought of the things that made humans strong, the hope to rebuild after loss, the courage to try again, the kindness to help each other without reason. He let those feelings flow into his voice. The chamber accepted them. The tone rose higher and brighter, until the walls themselves seemed to sing. Alara joined him. Their voices merged into one sound that carried through the planet's core. The light of Valora's sun flickered in the sky, then steadied and grew warmer. For a brief moment the whole world shone with golden light. Lyrian and the council who watched from outside gasped as the readings on their devices rose higher than ever before. The sun's energy had increased, and the fading glow that had worried their scientist for years now pulsed with life again. Inside the chamber, the brightness slowly faded until only the soft glow remained. Rin opened his eyes. The air was still warm, but calm. The pillars no longer hummed. They stood silent like resting giants. Alara looked at him with quiet pride. It is done. The chamber has accepted your voice. Rin let out a shaky breath. Did it work? She nodded. Yes, the resonance has been restored. Our son will live. The balance between Valora and the stars has returned. Rin smiled with relief. I am glad I could help. Alara stepped closer. You did more than help. You reminded us of what we lost. Your voice carried the spark of adaptation. We had forgotten how to listen with our hearts, but you brought it back. Rin looked around the chamber. The golden mist was slowly fading, revealing patterns carved into the crystal floor. They looked like waves of sound frozen in time. He realized they were the record of every voice that had ever sung here. Now his was among them. What happens now? He asked. The chamber will rest until the stars call again. Alara said, but the connection between our worlds will remain your people, and mine are now bound by harmony and light. They walked together toward the gate. The air outside was fresh and cool. The night sky was still bright with the glow of the renewed sun. Thousands of Velerans filled the streets below, cheering and singing gentle songs of thanks. Their voices rose in layers of sound that blended perfectly with the hum of the city. Rin listened and felt tears of joy in his eyes. Alara turned to him once more. This is your song now, too. Rin of Earth, you have given us hope, and we will remember. Rin shook his head slightly. I only did what anyone would do. Perhaps, she said. But few would do it with such honesty. That is what makes humanity shine. They stood together, watching the new light spread across the horizon. The moons reflected on the surface of the towers, and the air smelled of rain and crystal. The people continued to sing their soft harmonies, their voices carrying far into the night. Rin felt peace settle over him. He knew his work on Velora was not just about trade or treaties. It was about connection, about two worlds learning to share light. He looked up at the stars and thought that maybe somewhere out there, Earth could see this glow too. The princess placed her hand on her heart in their gesture of respect. Rest now, Rin. Tomorrow we will speak of what comes next. For tonight, let the world sing. Rin nodded. Thank you, princess. As he turned to leave the chamber, he felt a faint pulse of warmth in his chest. The bond between him and the planet was still there, gentle but real. The spark had not only saved Velora, it had changed him too. The golden sphere floated beside him, lighting his path back to his quarters. The song of the people followed him. Through the corridors, soft and endless, Rin smiled and whispered to himself, the stars really do listen. And far above in the glowing sky, Velora's sun shone brighter than it had in centuries, a living symbol of harmony born from one human voice. The morning after the ceremony of resonance, Velora felt lighter, as if a great weight had been lifted from the world. The twin moons had set, leaving only the golden glow of the renewed sun to bathe the city in warmth. Rin stood on the balcony of his quarters, looking down at the streets below. The citizens of Velora moved with quiet joy, their lines of light brighter and more fluid than before. Birds with crystal wings glided through the sky, leaving trails of shimmering color behind them. Even the gardens seemed to hum softly with energy. Rin's heart was full of wonder. He had stood beside the princess, shared the human song, and somehow helped restore the sun's strength. He had never imagined that a simple human voice could make such a difference. His thoughts were interrupted by the soft hum of the golden sphere floating toward him. Good morning, envoy of Earth, the sphere said gently. Princess Alara requests your presence in the Hall of Reflection. She wishes to speak with you about the bond your song has created. Rin nodded and followed the sphere through the palace. The corridors glowed softly, responding to his footsteps. He felt calm now, more confident than he had the night before. The world was alive with light and possibility. When he entered the Hall of Reflection, Princess Alara stood at the center. The room was vast, with walls made of transparent crystal that reflected the sunlight in soft rainbows. Pools of water lined the floors, and floating orbs of light drifted lazily above them. The entire chamber seemed to hum quietly, a gentle echo of the resonance from the previous night. Rin, Alara said, turning to face him. You have done more than I imagined. The chamber recognized the truth in your voice. It has accepted the spark of humanity and merged it with the heart of Velora. The sun will shine, the world will thrive, and our people will remember your courage for generations. Rin felt a surge of warmth in his chest. "I did not feel brave," he said quietly. "I only followed what I knew to be true. I sang what I felt." "That is exactly why the chamber responded," Alera said. "Valora needed truth, not strength. Humans carry that naturally. Your voice reminded us that hope and kindness are as powerful as any energy we could create." Rin looked around the hall. The water in the pools reflected the light from the orbs above, creating patterns that moved like flowing music. It was beautiful, and he felt a deep connection to it all. "I never thought I would do something like this," he said. "Back on Earth, we think our songs and stories are small, but here they can change a world." Alera smiled. "They are never small. Every voice carries the power to shape what it touches. That is why our ancestors wrote the law of attendance. It was never about command or duty. It was about listening to life outside ourselves and learning that we are never alone." The golden sphere pulsed beside Rin, its light soft and steady. He felt comforted by it, as if the world itself were encouraging him. Alera moved closer, her glowing patterns reflecting the colors of the sun. "The bond created last night," she continued, "is not temporary. It is now part of our world, part of our people. Humans and Velerans are connected in spirit. Your song has formed a bridge, and through it both our civilizations may learn, grow, and help each other." Rin felt a mix of awe and humility. "I only hope I can live up to it. I am not a hero, just a traveler. The greatest change often comes from those who do not think themselves mighty," Alera replied softly. "Look at what you have done. You have reminded Valora of its own light. You have proven that even one human can make a difference across the stars." The air of the chamber shimmered with faint light. Rin noticed the pools of water began to ripple as if stirred by unseen hands. Shapes emerged in the reflections, images of forests, mountains, and oceans from Earth. The chamber seemed to show him glimpses of his home planet, and Rin felt a pang of longing. "I miss Earth," he admitted. "The people, the cities, the quiet places where no one watches. And yet I feel like I belong here too." Alera nodded. "That is the bond you have created. You carry a piece of your world with you, and in return, you take a piece of ours. The connection does not demand sacrifice, it celebrates unity." She stepped toward one of the pools, letting her hand hover above the water. The surface reflected the image of Rin and herself, but the reflection shimmered and moved independently, showing them side by side yet intertwined with light patterns of the planet. "This is how our people will remember you," she said. "Not just as a visitor, but as a friend who brought the spark. Your presence will guide future generations of Valorans, just as your songs will remind humans of the possibilities beyond their sky." Rin watched in quiet amazement. "It feels magical." "It is more than magic," Alera said. "It is the recognition of truth and harmony. That is the essence of our bond." The golden sphere floated up to Rin's shoulder. "The council awaits your presence," it said. "They wish to formally welcome you as a friend of Valora." Rin followed Alera through another hallway. The walls of this section were filled with living light, shifting in patterns of stars and moons. He could feel energy moving under his feet, a gentle hum that matched the rhythm of his heartbeat. The palace seemed alive in a way he could finally understand, not just in light but in feeling and thought. They entered a large open hall. Council members, tall and graceful like Lyrian, stood in rows. Their golden lines glowed softly, and their eyes were filled with curiosity and respect. When they saw Rin, many inclined their heads. The air felt charged, warm, and inviting. "Rin of Earth," Alera said. "This is the Council of Valora. You have performed a great service for our world. Your song has restored harmony, and your courage has reminded us of what is possible. We welcome you not only as a guest, but as a friend of our people." Rin bowed deeply, feeling the gravity of the moment. "Thank you. I am honored to be here. I never expected that a human could make such a difference." The council members spoke in turn, their voices calm and musical. They asked him questions about Earth, about humans, and about how they created songs, stories, and inventions. Rin answered as best he could, realizing that the differences between their worlds were not obstacles but opportunities. Humans had imagination, curiosity, and adaptability. Valorans had harmony, light, and patience. Together, they could learn more than either had alone. After the discussions, Alara led Rin to a balcony overlooking the city again. The sun now shone in brilliant gold, reflecting off towers and gardens below. People moved through the streets with smiles, their lines of light vibrant and flowing. The city hummed in celebration of the restored sun, but it was quiet in a way that felt natural, not forced. "Look at them," Alara said softly. They sense the change. Even without words, they understand that harmony has returned. Your song lives in every corner of Valora now. Rin watched in awe. I did not realize it could feel like this. On Earth, people celebrate victories with noise and fire. Here it feels like everything itself is celebrating. Alara smiled. This is how our world honors truth and effort. The bond is quiet but deep. You will always be part of it now, Rin. And one day, when humans and Valorans meet again, the bridge you have formed will guide our two peoples toward friendship and understanding. Rin took a deep breath, feeling a sense of responsibility settle in his chest. He had come as an envoy expecting trade agreements and greetings, but he had found something much larger, a connection that could shape the future. "Princess," he said quietly, "I want to make sure I do not forget this. I want humans to understand what it means to be part of something bigger." "You already have," she replied. "The memory of your song and of this night will remain. It will travel with you, and when your people look up at the stars, they will know that they are never alone. You have given Valora hope, and your people a story worth telling." Rin nodded, looking up at the golden sky. For the first time since he arrived, he felt completely at peace. He had faced the unknown, shared what was uniquely human, and discovered that even one voice could create bonds that spanned worlds. Alara placed her hand gently on his shoulder. "Rest now, Rin. The sun is steady, the city thrives, and our hearts are aligned. Tomorrow, we will speak of new journeys. But tonight, let us simply be grateful for what we have created together." Rin smiled. "I will remember this forever." They stood together for a long time, looking over the city as the soft glow of Valora's sun touched every building, every garden, every citizen. It was more than light. It was harmony, alive and flowing, a gift of two worlds meeting in understanding. The golden sphere pulsed softly beside Rin, as if to echo the bond he had helped create. He felt the warmth in his chest, and knew that he had changed too. Humanity had reached across the stars and left its mark. And in that moment, Rin understood. The truth Alara had spoken. Greatness was not in power or skill, but in the courage to act with honesty, hope, and heart. The morning after the ceremony, Valora was alive with light and quiet energy. The twin moons had set, leaving the golden sun to fill every corner of the city. Rin walked through the palace corridors toward the Hall of Unity, where Princess Alara and the council awaited him. His heart was steady now, and his steps carried confidence. Last night had changed everything. He was no longer just a human envoy. He was part of Valora's story, a bridge between two worlds. The golden sphere floated ahead, guiding him through the winding corridors. Light flowed along the walls like liquid, responding to his presence. He could feel the quiet hum of the palace, soft and steady, a reflection of the harmony that now filled the planet. When he entered the Hall of Unity, the council members were already gathered. They stood in a semicircle, tall and graceful, their golden lines glowing softly. Princess Alara was at the center, her eyes calm but full of energy. The chamber seemed to glow more brightly than usual, as if the walls themselves were alive with recognition. "Rin of Earth," Alara said, her voice carrying clearly across the hall. "You have done more than restore our sun. You have reminded our people of the strength of hope and the power of truth. Today we formally honor you as a friend of Valora. Your presence will guide our world for generations." Rin bowed deeply. "Thank you, Your Highness. I only followed what I knew to be right. I did what anyone would do if they had the chance to help." Alara's golden pattern shimmered brighter. Few would act with such honesty and courage. That is why the chamber responded to you. You have given Valora the gift of the spark, and in doing so, you have also given your own world a story of hope that will travel far beyond this planet. The council members spoke in turn, offering words of thanks and praise. Rin listened quietly, realizing that their gratitude was not only for the restoration of the sun but for something deeper, the renewal of belief in connection, in unity, and in the shared potential of all worlds. After the formal greetings, Alara led Rin to the observation terrace. From there he could see the city in full. The towers reflected sunlight like mirrors, the gardens glowed with life, and the citizens below moved with purpose and joy. The people of Valora were singing, not in words, but in harmonized tones that carried across the city. It was a soft, endless music that seemed to arise from the very heart of the planet. The song you helped create, Alara said, flows through the city now. Every citizen feels the warmth of your voice. You have reminded us that even one being can shape the rhythm of many. Humanity has shown us what we had almost forgotten. Rin watched the city in silence. He could see the joy in the movements of the citizens, the gentle energy that surrounded the towers, and the peaceful hum in the air. It was more than beauty. It was balance. He realized that this was what the princess had meant by the spark, an energy not of force but of life, growth, and unity. "Princess," Rin said finally, "I never imagined that a simple song could do so much. On Earth we use music to celebrate, to mourn, to inspire, but here it has saved a world." Alara smiled. "Music is only one form of truth. Any sincere action, any honest feeling can carry the spark. Last night your song was the channel for our world's renewal. But every human has the same potential. That is what the stars recognize: the courage to act, the kindness to guide, and the hope to continue." The golden sphere floated to Rin's side, pulsing softly. "Envoy of Earth," it said, "the council has prepared a gift for you. It is a symbol of the bond between your people and Valora." Alara stepped forward, holding a crystal that glowed with gentle light. "This crystal will carry the rhythm of your heartbeat. It is a bridge between our worlds. When you hold it, you will feel the pulse of Valora, and we will feel the pulse of your home. It will remind us that harmony is possible when we listen to one another." Rin took the crystal carefully. Its light felt warm and familiar, almost as if it had a life of its own. He held it against his chest and felt a deep connection, as if the planet and the people of Valora were reaching out to him. "I will treasure this," he said. "I will show my people that we are not alone in the universe." Alara nodded. "And they will see. The bridge you have formed will last beyond this generation. Humans and Valorans will continue to learn from each other, to create together and to share light. That is the legacy of the spark." The council members gathered around, each offering a word or gesture of respect. Rin realized that the gratitude of a civilization was not something to take lightly. It was a responsibility, a gentle call to continue the work he had begun. After the ceremony, Alara led Rin to the palace gardens. The twin moons had begun to rise again, their silver and gold light mingling with the renewed sun's glow. The gardens were alive with the soft energy of the planet, humming in response to the light. Rin felt the connection clearly now, a steady pulse that ran from the ground beneath his feet to the sky above. "Do you see it?" Alara asked, gesturing toward the floating terraces and the rivers of light. "Valora thrives because we are united. Your presence reminded us of the value of each voice, each heart, each being. That is the essence of the spark." Rin nodded. "I think I understand now. It is not about power or skill. It is about acting with honesty, kindness, and hope. That is what makes humans special, isn't it?" "Yes," Alara said softly. "And that is why the stars called you. They saw your light and knew it would shine here. You are part of our story now, Rin, and our story will travel with you when you return to Earth." Rin looked up at the sky. For the first time he saw the stars not as distant lights but as companions, as witnesses to the bond he had helped create. He imagined people on Earth looking up at the night sky, wondering if somewhere out there a world was singing in harmony. And now, he knew that one human voice could indeed reach across the stars and bring hope to another world. The day passed with quiet joy. Rin explored the city with Alara, learning more about the culture of Valora and the people who lived there. He visited schools where young Valorans practiced their harmonies, gardens where plants glowed in response to human emotion, and observatories where scholars studied the stars and the patterns of light. Everywhere he went, he felt the hum of the spark, the energy of connection, creation, and life. By evening, the citizens of Valora gathered in the Grand Plaza to celebrate the restored sun and the bond formed with Earth. The plaza was alive with light and music, but it was gentle and welcoming. Rin stood beside Alara as the crowd sang in soft tones, their voices carrying a sense of unity that transcended language. "Do you feel it?" Alara asked. "This is what your presence has created. Harmony between worlds is not just a dream. It is real." Rin smiled, feeling a warm glow in his chest. "I feel it. I will carry this feeling back to Earth. I will show them that even one human can make a difference." As the night deepened, the twin moons reflected the light of the sun, casting silver and gold patterns across the plaza. Rin held the crystal in his hand, feeling its pulse match his own heartbeat. The people of Valora moved gracefully, their energy flowing like water around him. He realized that he had become part of something much greater than himself. Alara placed her hand on his shoulder. "Rest now, Rin. Tomorrow we will speak of journeys beyond this planet. For now, let us celebrate the spark you have brought to Valora." Rin nodded, closing his eyes for a moment. He could hear the music of the people, the gentle hum of the planet, and the pulse of the crystal in his hand. It was a reminder that every action mattered, every voice had value, and every heart could create change. Before leaving the plaza, Rin turned to look at the city one last time for the night. Towers shimmered in gold, gardens glowed softly, and the citizens sang in gentle harmony. The world felt alive in a way that words could not describe. He knew that this experience would stay with him forever, a story to share with his people and a memory to inspire hope across the galaxy. Alara walked beside him to the palace gates. "The bond we have formed will remain, Rin of Earth. It is not only for us, but for all who will follow. Valora and Earth are now linked by harmony, and the spark will continue to guide both our peoples." Rin held the crystal close. "I promise I will honor it. I will show humans what we can do when we act with truth, courage, and hope." She smiled warmly. "That is all the stars ever ask." As Rin prepared to return to his quarters, he felt a deep sense of purpose. He had come to Valora expecting a simple diplomatic mission, but he had discovered something far greater. Humanity's spark, the ability to adapt, to hope, and to connect, had reached across the stars and left a lasting legacy. Above the city, the renewed sun glowed steadily, its light reflected by the twin moons. The hum of Valora's energy filled the air, a gentle reminder that harmony was alive and thriving. Rin knew that wherever he went, the memory of this world, the bond he had formed, and the spark he had shared would travel with him.